Welcome back to the Becoming Table Talk. This is the space where we like to slow down, breathe, and talk honestly about what it looks like to lead with clarity, confidence, and connection without abandoning our own needs in the process.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean, recreation therapist and empowerment coach. I help women tune into their bodies so they can stop leading from an empty and start leading from regulation and groundness.
Hi, everyone. I'm Latrice. I'm an executive assistant and structure strategist. I support leaders in building systems that honor their capacity instead of draining their capacity.
And I'm Crystal. I'm an occupational therapist and creative strategist. And I love helping leaders develop environments and design those routines that create more calm, more clarity, and more creativity.
Yeah, and I'm Dr. Larissa. I'm a therapist, a leadership coach, and also co founder of Sisters in Healing. And this is a table where we ask BIPOC women to gather and to talk about leadership, identity, emotional truth, and the internal shifts that shape how we show up in the world. So let's get into today's conversation, right? Today, we're talking about something people don't usually connect to leadership, and that is your nervous system. Because leadership isn't just about strategy, it's physiology,
Absolutely.
it's emotional processing, and it's how your internal system responds to pressure, expectations, to any deadlines, and then the almighty relational dynamics, right? Because that's all a huge part of being in that leadership role. And the truth is, really, it's quite simple. Your nervous system is your leadership system. If you are dysregulated, then the decisions that you make are going to be dysregulated. Your communication will show it. Your boundaries will not be there. Your team structure will be chaos, right?
Sure will.
And so you being a regulated leader actually creates regulated environments. If you've ever sat there and thought like, why is everything so all over the place? Check in. Because dysregulated leaders create chaos, confusion, instability. And the meaning of all of that is just the word that just keeps coming up is chaos, 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 right? So let's break down what we are talking about is what we're talking about when it comes to internal regulation and how that affects the external leadership structure. So whether we want to or not, our nervous system sets the tone for how we lead. So Sean, I'm just curious to hear like your thoughts on this.
Absolutely. And thanks, Larissa. When you're regulated, ladies, you have a calmness, you're centered, you're grounded, right? You're emotionally and mentally at a place of peace, and your team can feel it. They feel a kind of moment, right? Your presence becomes an anchor. But when you're dysregulated, overwhelmed, anxious, and rushed, trust me, they can feel that too. And the environment shifts instantly. It's like a snap of a finger. People start reacting to your energy instead of your instructions. Right. You can be talking and the game plan could be, something phenomenal, but everybody's looking at feeling your energy. They're reading your nonverbal body language and they're like, what? I'm not doing that. So it's very important. It's important.
Yeah, people sense that. And then
Yes, they do.
when we as leaders operate from chronic stress, everything becomes reactive. Our decisions, they're rushed. Our communication can get sharp. It can get snappy. We're like, wait on. That's not their fault. That's yours. Your body's the one that's like feeling these things.
That's
And
right.
then you have your priorities, they shift constantly. So you don't have any consistency there because everything is like, okay, wait, what about this? It's too much shifting going on. And people
Yes.
feel like they're running to catch up. And it's
Yes.
not because the work is hard. It's because their emotional climate is too unpredictable at the moment.
Right. And this is the part that leaders don't talk about enough. Your nervous system becomes your leadership brand.
Ooh.
Your
Yes.
routines become your brand. So if you're always tense, your team will be on their tiptoes. If you're scattered, your team becomes disorganized. If you're grounded, though, your team relaxes and they
Mhm,
perform better, they
mhm,
communicate better, everything just kind of flows much better.
Mhm.
So just check yourself. And even if you're not in a leadership position and you're leading from the bottom up, if you are the one that is calm and your nervous system, they'll come to you.
absolutely.
And even the leader may say, "How do I do that?" And you can,
Mhm,
coach them through that.
mhm.
Everybody has ability to be a leader, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. I think your nervous system becomes your leadership brand.
I like that.
Wow.
Yeah. That's deep.
That was an ouch
Mhm.
moment.
And
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So, like,
because
that can totally shift the way that you think about, like, all the things that we're talking about is designed for you to, like, totally think differently about the way you lead.
Mhm.
But when
Mhm.
you think about what you want your brand to be
Mm,
as a leader, right?
Right.
And the brand that you want people to connect to,
Mm.
that is powerful.
It is.
That is
it's
It
your
powerful.
is.
it's your signature.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
your own advertisement board. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just
Yeah.
through your energy and your presentation.
So your internal regulation becomes the invisible architecture
Yes.
for how you're gonna hold your team together. That's
Mm,
essentially
Talking
what we're
about.
saying,
Mhm.
right? And so naming the ways that you are dysregulated, understanding that that quietly shapes your leadership.
Absolutely.
So this is not about judgment. It's about becoming aware because we can't make changes if we're not aware of the
Mhm.
thing. So when we talk about inconsistent boundaries, Sean, like what is that?
Well, first of all, when your system is overwhelmed, you say yes to things that you don't even want to say yes to
Oof.
because you're just trying to get through it. You know, hey, do you want eggs on rice? Yeah, and you don't eat eggs. What are you talking about? You let people interrupt, right?
mm,
You're in the middle of a thought and somebody's interrupting. You're just like, what? You're gone. You're lost. You're
mhm,
like in a fog, a brain fog,
Mm.
and your tolerance gets so thin.
Doesn't
It's
it?
like the least little thing sets you off. Your boundaries drift because your internal system has been stretched. It is just like expanded to a point where it's crying out, "Help me!" So you got to really that self awareness is so important. It's very important.
And then you talk about those workflows that just become urgency based, right? When you're dysregulated, it creates that sense of that artificial urgency. Everything got to be done right now.
Yeah,
It's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. But it doesn't, because that's not the real. You're
yeah,
dysregulated, and
right.
then that team starts to function in that fire drill mode. So
Ooh,
everybody's running around trying to get things done, and it's not working. And even though what they're trying to do is to make things go, but it's not urgent. But they're
mm-hmm.
acting as if it is.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you set that tone so everybody is not running around like everything's on fire because it's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What we're talking about now, everyone, is the warning light coming on. Okay, this is
Mm,
the check engine lights coming on. All right,
mhm,
so these are the things that you want to be concerned about, and reflect on for self reflection. Your
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
tone changes. This is emotional spillover now. What I'm talking about. Your tone changes. Your emails get shorter. Your patience shrinks. You stop listening, especially active listening. You're
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And people feel the shift. Your team starts to feel the shift around you. They may not be able to articulate what's happening, but okay, Latrice, something's going on.
You
Oh,
must have
now
woke up
over
on
there.
her.
She got some stuff going on. All
Right.
these things happen.
Yeah.
So just do self reflection
Yeah.
the things that we're talking about right now. Do self reflection. See if you can fix it.
Mm,
Absolutely. And avoidance of difficult conversations becomes to be at the top of the forefront, is when the body goes into a fight, flight, or freeze mode, and hard conversations feel so threatening. They really
Mhm.
do. And leaders can delay them. It's like, oh, we'll get to that tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes, oh, we'll get to that tomorrow. And it's always a tomorrow we're going to get to it. And then your clarity slips. It's like you're talking and people are like, I don't get that. Did you understand that? And then your tension, it grows
yep.
because everybody's feeling confused. It's like, okay, the bottom is about to fall out. And they're bracing for that. And they shouldn't have to feel that because you are in an overload. Your systems are overloaded.
And so if you regulate yourself, then you ultimately regulate your organization or your team,
Absolutely.
right? So let's talk about what it looks like to intentionally regulate your internal system so your leadership becomes a stabilizing force. And there
Mm.
are 4 areas that we want to point out for you today.
And so, first, let's start off by learning your patterns of activation. Every leader has tells. It's either physical, emotional signs that your system is in overload. So, physical, you're fidgety, you're moving, your shoulders are humped over, you know what I mean? Your eyes are looking like they're ready to bulge out of your head. You got this look like, okay, I'm getting ready to just lose it.
Right.
And so you start to ask yourself some questions like, where does the stress show up in my body?
Mm.
And you should know where it shows up in your body. You should be aware of that. What thoughts signal I am dysregulated? I know what my thoughts are, and I know what my signals are. My eyebrows start to, move in, and my nose flares, and I look like a bull in a china cabinet just ready to get out.
Mm.
And then your behaviors start to shift. You're normally this calm person, and now you're bringing this energy. It's like, oh my goodness, should we open up a window? Do I need to brace myself for the hurricane that's about to transpire? What's going on? So, awareness truly and honestly is your greatest leadership tool.
And you need to use those regulation rituals to anchor your day. And it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be dramatic or time consuming. You can make it short and sweet, right? So sometimes you're thinking about that regulation piece because as a therapist, I know like self regulation is my thing. Like, let's do it. But
Hmm.
you can do it. Start with 2 minutes of deep breathing. I know I teach my people, like, okay, take it in. What do you say? Smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Yes, do it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it make me feel like I'm hyperventilating, so I got to do it on my own. And then you wanna take that that quiet moment before those meetings. So
Yes.
sometimes I just take a pause, like, "Okay, Crystal, you're about to go into this meeting. Get
Hmm.
yourself together. Get
Hmm.
grounded."
Hmm.
'Cause sometimes, those meetings, you're like, "Ooh, child, let
Hmm.
me pull it together." And you
Right.
already start to get heightened because you don't know what's coming.
Right.
And then sometimes grounding in between those tasks. So I put my hand on my chest and one on my stomach, make sure my feet are flat on the ground. I can feel it all, and I take those deep breaths in because it
Hmm.
makes me feel like I'm present. My whole awareness is
Mhm.
right there. Or
Right.
sometimes I'll take a quick walk, go up and get some water, refill my coffee cup, and then I just use those reset rituals, especially after hard conversations, to just get my
Yeah.
bearings again.
Right.
And just using those micro practices, they protect your clarity.
They do. They do.
That's right. Most leaders overwhelming comes from structure, not
Mm.
inability. So if you do those things, Crystal, to start, that's a wonderful idea. And then removing the emotional weight that you have too. So reducing decision making, clarify expectations, supporting boundaries, create predictable timelines, eliminate unnecessary chaos. So clean systems calm the nervous system, or clean
Mhm.
systems calm your nervous system, the team. So just set your quarter up for success so
Mhm.
Mhm.
that you're
Yeah.
not stressed out and stressing the
Mhm.
team out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. That's that yeah, that's big. Clean. I would even add clear.
Yeah.
Right? The more clear, the clarity of your system,
Mhm.
will calm the nervous system too. So this is really the heart of it all, right?
Mhm.
When you're regulated, essentially, you're not leading from a place of fear, pain, or urgency. Rather, instead, you lead from wisdom when your nervous system is regulated. You lead from intention. You lead from self command because
Mhm.
you have control over your own internal system. And regulated leaders communicate clearly.
Yes, they
They
do.
communicate more clearly. You set
Mhm.
boundaries with confidence, and
Mhm.
you make decisions from a big picture standpoint rather than from pressure points or
Yes. Ooh.
pressure in a moment that now this is what we're doing, and it makes absolutely no sense. Your nervous system being regulated allows for you to see the entire picture and roadmap for where you're trying to go.
I like that.
Me too.
And then your regulation shapes the way your team experiences you and
Mm,
as well as themselves.
mhm,
Absolutely. A regulated leader creates a workplace that feels human,
mm,
first and foremost, steady, and it gives emotional safety. And we all need that for success.
That's right.
Environments matter.
Yes,
That's
they
right.
do.
Regulation reduces confusion, decreases reactivity, and increases the trust across the entire structure. You learn to
yeah.
trust yourself more.
Yeah. So, We're at that point now, and here's where we say thank you. Thank you to you, the listener, for joining us at the Becoming Table Talk. And this week, we asked for you to ask yourself, what is my nervous system communicating? And how is it shaping my leadership? How is it shaping my leadership brand, right? Because when you regulate your internal system, then you actually transform your external structure. And so just remember to have patience with yourself and know that you're not doing this alone and that we are right here doing this with you. And to know that becoming more aware of what's happening with you internally, you may discover that, you know what, I actually need a little more support. And so know that that's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. So we are all becoming together. We're saving you a seat. And so till the next time,
Take care.
bye.
Bye.